Hello and welcome to OverShadow ShadowCast with your host Thomas Anderson and Abigail Moot.
Hello.
Oh, hello.
Today's very warm.
Too warm. It's
I,
dead.
l- I looked I looked at my phone an hour ago and it said it was 20 degrees and now it says it's 21 degrees. I'm like, that's that how can that even be possible to get warmer in the evening? You know what I mean? Like it should be getting cooler.
It needs more wind. It needs more wind. It needs more wind.
I
More
was okay
wind.
today. I was in a classroom and it wasn't in the sun. So it was cool-ish.
Cooleth.
But it was chilly this morning.
Cooleth.
So I went to college in like not a big cardigan. I don't know if you've seen it. It's like that black and white one I have.
Hmm?
But I came out because I was like, I'll just put it back on to go to the car when I came out of the classroom. And I was like, oh, it's too hot.
I was doing
Way
gardening
too hot.
yesterday.
Are you rough? Do you feel rough today? Yeah.
I'm very tired and my abdomen is extremely sore.
Well, I got a really interesting email today telling me I need to make a decision in the next 3 days about something. And I thought I had till the 30th of June. So now I'm just like,
Can you shout that again, please? Because I didn't... That's weird. Do that again. It's cutting out.
I think it's because it's like a continuous noise. So maybe there's like a fluctuate. Yeah, that cut out. That's cutting
Right,
out.
so if I went...
Yeah, I can't hear it.
Oh.
No, I can't hear it. I don't know why that is.
I think it might be a volume thing then.
Oh, okay then.
Like if you cover enough of the wavelengths with a loud enough constant voice, it just says nah.
Quite possibly.
Because it's probably not fluctuating as much as a voice would. Maybe it's detecting my vocal patterns. Shields up. I have no shields.
Well, I was asking your advice on something, and literally you and one other person have kind of said the same thing, but everybody else, no, 3 people have actually said the same thing, but everybody else has pretty much said the other thing.
But I'm a genius.
So says you.
No, so saith.
Your plethora of degrees
Just
and
so
slash
saith.
masters.
Just so saith. Just so saith. It is just the way of things. Praise be. Well, to be pedantic and annoying, it boils down to being your choice, but your best bet is to think it through.
Well, I thought I had longer, so that's why I've not been thinking it through properly.
Well,
No, I have been thinking about it, but I've not been.
it's been more passive than active.
Yeah.
Now you've just got no choice. Put everything else to the side, sit and think.
Yep. Because I mean, I can do something, and then if I change my mind, I can change it. You know what I mean? It's not.
You need to make sure that whatever you decide to do, it's not something that you know you don't want to do.
So I need to know I want to do it, basically.
No. You need to know that you don't not want to do it.
I don't understand that.
For example, if somebody picks to train as a electrician or a teacher or a taxi driver,
Yeah.
if they know they don't want to do it before they do it, it's not going to work. If they find out later, well, that's just part of life. But if they train to do it and then find out they don't want to do it, that's just the way that it works. But if you already knew you really don't want to have to do that, it won't work if you end up having to do it. So if there's one of your choices you really don't want to have to do, just take that one out straight away.
This has gotten very real, and I didn't mean for it to get very real. I apologize.
Just don't pick something you really don't want to do. What have you been playing?
I have been playing the golf game, and I can't remember what it's called.
That's incredibly helpful. Thank you very much, dear. Right, we'll just move on.
You're very welcome. It's called Golf with Your Friends.
Okay, and why have you
That
played
is what
that?
it is called. Because it was on Game Pass. It still is on Game
Is
Pass.
that the only reason you played it?
No. We also played it because we could both play it.
So we were playing together.
Yes. And
And
I got upset.
yes, you did. Do you want to describe the game briefly and then why you got upset?
So it's basically it's a crazy golf game.
Yes.
Is that it's called great? It's called crazy.
It's crazy
golf,
golf,
over
yeah,
here.
yeah.
For some reason, I thought it was
What are we supposed to call it? Mentally unstable
putt
golf?
putt, like putt golf or something
No,
like
it's
that.
crazy golf. Like, there's windmills in it, and the balls bounce around all over the place, and there's
Mini golf.
buzzsaws.
That's mini golf's the American word.
It's
I
no,
just
it's
knew
no
that
mini
was-
golf. It's not. Like, I
No.
don't remember big golf where they had gigantic big windmills.
But I just remembered it had a different name. So it's a crazy golf game, and there's different themes you could play, like forest. So you're playing in a forest, pirates. So it's like on pirate ships and stuff like that. And you play it at the same time online.
Or I think couch is available.
You didn't tell me that because every time I kept hitting my ball, you would hit it, and then all this kind of stuff, and you used
What?
to annoy
No,
me.
no, no. What are you talking about? It's a couch co-op. Couch multiplayer.
Oh, I thought you meant like you could take you could take turns.
Well, you can actually, and you can turn collision off, but that's kind of... Anyway, talk about the game so we can talk about that.
So it's basically kind of like playing by typical crazy golf standards. There's a bunch of obstacles like hills and things like that, and you need to get over it. You've got, you got like par, eagle, bogey, all this kind of stuff. But
So
it's
golf.
got this, so you can play like loads of different variants and things like this. But you have this option to put collision on. So if you hit somebody else's ball, it goes shooting off to the side, which is very
So just to sum
frustrating.
up quickly, it's normal golf, it's crazy golf, it's normal crazy golf.
It's just regular crazy golf. Apart from there are extra, because it's like obviously a computer game, you can put things in it that you couldn't put in a traditional crazy
So it's
golf game.
extreme crazy golf, but it's just
Yeah.
ordinary. You've got a putter and you're putting the ball around all over the place.
Yeah, and you can control the pressure at which you hit and the direction you hit
Like
it.
you can in normal golf.
Yes.
Right. You don't control spin,
No.
just the speed and direction.
Yes.
And you can, if you're playing with other people, you can hit their ball. So if you
Yeah.
want to stump them and ruin their day, you can whack your ball into their ball and their ball then shoots away.
Which is what you did to me many a time.
Yeah, I think the best one was when we both took 1 or 2 turns to get to the top of a hill, and I knocked you back down the hill, and it took you 15 to get back up.
Yes, I was very angry. Was very angry. And all you did was just sit there laughing at me like a cruel little man you actually are.
It is the way of things.
We played 2 games. We played Forest, and I can't remember what the other one was.
Pirates.
Right.
The themes are different, the actual settings, where you are, what you're trying to hit it around. So I think in the
That's what I said.
pirate one, we were trying to avoid the tentacles of a kraken.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And Forest, Forest is, I think, it's more.
The big difficulty
Typical.
with that one was the buzzsaw and the tree logs all over the place.
There was one where you had to go onto like a conveyor belt speed that would launch you into a cabin, and there was a table saw, and you had to time it so that you wouldn't hit the table saw. That was proving very difficult for me.
Mm-hmm.
But I have been playing it more by myself, just by myself, like without anybody else.
Is that because then you're always guaranteed to win?
No, it's so I can just get more used to like the pressure and the speed of things.
Right.
And also
Pressure. What do you mean by pressure, sorry?
Like how hard you hit the ball.
That's
like
not
the
pressure. That's force.
The strength, whatever.
Because I'm just getting
and also
confused between you saying pressure as in, are you feeling pressure while playing the game? Or are you...
Yes, I feel pressure when you play with me.
Right, so then so it's 2 meanings of the word pressure being used at the same time. So I was
Okay.
seeking an explanation.
But I also wanted to have a go at the other themes. So I played like Haunted House, Candyland, Egypt, Oasis.
So Candyland, do you mean Sweetie Land or Sweetie World or what does that mean?
It is called Candyland.
Yes, but what would the translation from the American be?
Boiled Sugarland.
Yeah, Boiled Sweeties World.
Boiled Sugarland.
Oh, Boiled Sweeties World.
Boiled Sugarland.
Why? It's not... What?
Sweets are boiled sugar.
Yeah, but the word is translated, not the meaning.
Just trying to rile you up.
I just noticed how you felt the need to translate Crazy Golf into American, but we didn't translate the American into...
Because most people understand what that is.
Basically, Americans are too thick to understand what we have to say, so we have to explain everything? Is that what you mean?
No, everybody's got different words.
But that's my point. Why are we translating for Americans, but we're never translating for us, and they never translate for us?
It's called Candyland. So you got like candy canes and all this kind of stuff, and that's my favorite one so far. I think I also played there's like a neon one, but I can't remember what that's called. It's like Fluorescent Land or something like that.
Cyberpunkin.
No, it's something else. I can't remember what it's called, but that was quite fun. So yeah, I've enjoyed it to a certain extent, except there are some levels in some games which are just mad. Like, you have to hit a ball off of something in a specific location. It could take you about 10, 15 goes to complete a hole, and then you just lose.
Yeah. Who won when we played?
You did.
And who won the second time?
You did.
Oh, yeah. And what happened when I won and you lost?
I got angry.
Yeah.
Because you kept hitting me off of things into water.
That was the whole point. That's where all the fun comes from.
Only if you are a level. If one is succeeding more than the other, it no longer becomes fun. It's only fun if you're both on a level playing field. If one is succeeding more than the other, it no longer becomes fun. Especially when one of you is laughing their head off and the other one's going...
I agree, but you just need to get better at video games.
And you need to get better at not ruining my fun.
But you've been playing it and you've got a bit better and you've enjoyed yourself.
A little bit.
Right.
I've also learned I can zoom out and look at the course.
I am now going to take over because you've had long enough to talk about a golf game.
Very well.
I've been playing a bit of Assassin's Creed Origins, just doing side missions to level myself up, doing a few main missions, mostly side missions. Seems really full. It? Yes, it seems really full. The map is really good. For its size, its complexity, what they've put in, it seems to be really, really good. It's just one thing I don't like at the moment. It's really preying on me. The combat. They've tried to make it more like The Witcher and less like Assassin's Creed.
Yeah.
And for me, it doesn't work. Yeah, I know I've got it on nightmare difficulty. For me, it doesn't work. It's too... I got killed the other day because I tried to do a heavy attack and I couldn't do this charged up heavy attack. I didn't have enough time. The opposition had charged... The other guy had charged his up first, so he hit me. Fine. But after he hit me once, I should have been able to move out the way.
Yeah.
Because I wasn't knocked down by it or even staggered. I was just hit by it. So I should have been able to dodge out the way. And I couldn't. And he just started wailing on me and eventually killed me. I wasn't allowed to move. He hit me 3 times in a row. But when I did an attack on somebody, the only way that they don't immediately have the ability to either hit me or move is if it knocks them down. So why was I uniquely held in position when everybody else would have been able to move out the way? Mm-hmm. And I just think that the combat is not sharp enough for what they're trying to do. It's too punishing when something goes wrong. They need to be much kinder or much, much sharper. Mm-hmm. It doesn't work. You just end up feeling really frustrated. And then when it comes to fighting somebody that's on horseback, it's just die. Just let them kill you. I was doing a mission where I had to escort a priest to safety. And 9 guys appeared out of nowhere on horseback, right?
Yeah.
And attacked me. And they were 2 different colours. And I only learned afterwards that they were 2 different forces. Because they seemed to both be attacking me, but I couldn't quite tell. I got annihilated immediately, so it wouldn't have mattered either way. And the priest got killed as well. And then when it spawned me back in, the priest was standing at the end of the mission, because that's basically where we were. And he was just like, "Oh, thanks for escorting me." What? I got your heat chopped off. What are you talking about? It's not, yeah, I'm just not very impressed with that stuff. It's like they've tried to put a combat system in they don't necessarily understand.
Yeah.
They have added in some extra stuff for the assassinations, which I think is very, very good. It's a lot more forgiving in that realm. But see, when you're trying to get a headshot with something, it's really fiddly. Sometimes it will be telling you you're hitting it in the head, frumph, and then you won't. And I know there's like the arrows drop as they go, but that doesn't seem to add in for everything. There's sometimes when you're directly above, almost, and you'll let go of the arrow and it'll hit me in the shoulder. You're like, no, hold on. It's either the chest or the head, not the shoulder. That's off to one side. It's not going to drop sideways. It's going to drop down.
Are they accounting for wind resistance?
There is no
like
gauge whatsoever for wind, so you'd have no way of knowing that's what's doing it.
Right. That's a bit annoying.
Yeah. So the solution seems to be that with these like sniper rifle bows, you can hold down, once you've got a special power, you can hold down the button that you press to fire the arrow.
Yeah.
And you will then control the arrow like a missile. But that's not a solution. That's just a cool thing. It's not a solution. You want to be able to go flip, flip, flip and take 3 guys down really quickly. That's what feels cool. Not flip, oh, I hit him in the shoulder. Flip, oh, I hit him in the knee. Or flip, oh, I hit his mother. It just doesn't... That's not what you want to do. So... It's getting better. It's definitely a lot of fun. The story seems good. It seems very interesting. It just doesn't track for me, that combat stuff. But I think that's just because this is the first time they added it and they got it wrong. And I think they fixed it.
For that a little bit.
No, because they were copying somebody else's system and got it wrong. I forgive you for copying somebody else's homework badly. No. But they seem to have... This, from what I can tell and from what I've heard, seems to be that this first attempt was just really bad and then they fixed it in the second one, which was Odyssey. But it sort of ruins my fun every now and again. Although they didn't do what was done in Unity, which was if you sneak around a base, they just start randomly spawning the bad guys back in. They don't do that. You're able to clear a place out now. And that's better. Just constant spawning enemies just because you went slightly too far away. It's just, why have you done that? But yeah, it's better from that point of view. And I think I'll maybe just get used to the combat because it's not natural to be playing Assassin's Creed like this. This is just not right. But I do think that it is not quite tight enough for what they've tried to do.
Yeah, it's like... It's not as refined as you'd want it to be.
Yes, that's it. It's not refined. It's not tight. You don't really know what you're doing. And I think a big part of the problem is the fact that it's their first attempt, but it's also the fact that this is not how you play Assassin's Creed.
Yeah.
So you're pressing basically the wrong buttons if you've played all the other games before.
Yeah.
You're doing the wrong thing essentially, and that really plays on you.
Not good.
I mean, assassinations are done with the Y button instead of the X button now.
That's confusing.
Exactly. It's just really, really weird. So it's hard. It's hard, and I think maybe I'll get better at it because I will start to think in the way this game needs me to. Well, not think, but I'll start to become more accepting of what they've done. But
yeah, it
will confuse me for a good while, but I do actually believe that out with that it's not very well done when it comes to the combat. It's just not quite right. It's not
doesn't
horrible,
sound like
it's just not quite right.
Yeah, it doesn't sound it, because normally they're quite good for like quite refined combat skills. Assassin's Creed, isn't it?
Yes, because normally it's a little bit simpler.
Yeah.
To a degree, but it's a lot more sort of like you have 8 guys around you and then one of them will attack and you'll just stab him through the head with a counter attack.
Yeah.
And then you can move on and attack somebody else, and they've added things to it, but it was all very, Batman-esque.
Yeah.
Whereas this is an awful lot more, they're trying to go for the Witcher, and I don't think they hit it at all.
Doesn't sound like it.
No. Right. The other thing that I was playing, as I started with Mind Blow there, what was it called? Divinity Original Sin.
Yes.
Which is like a D&D like sort of RPG.
Okay, so do you like... I was about to say do you roll a dice, but...
No, as in I reckon there's dice rolls happening in the background. Similar to like KOTOR, where dice rolls would be happening for attacks. I think that's what's happening.
Right, okay.
So it's whether or not you hit an enemy isn't whether or not you point your weapon at them. It does a dice roll and then adds all the modifiers to see whether or not you hit them.
I think I got it.
Right. So it's got all those sorts of like classes. It's got 11 different classes in it. Lots of different powers, skills, all that jazz. We've not really dug into it. We've only played for a couple of hours. But what we did find out after spending a bit of time picking what classes we were going to go is it doesn't matter. That affects your starting attributes, but it doesn't really affect anything else. You can change everything as you go.
Yeah.
But he went a cleric for healing, and I went a knight because it's a good cross of damage and healing. And it was good because we're playing it on the hardest difficulty that is reasonable, which is, I think it's the third one. The other two are just silly as far as I'm concerned. And we'd lost the first fight that we did. So, because we didn't really understand what was happening, and I just got caught out and got murdered. And he then revived me, but I was standing in the middle of like a big pool of poison, so I immediately died.
Yeah.
And then he got killed, and it was just we had to work out what we were doing and how best to do it.
Oh, you silly Billy.
But yeah, and then we did some dungeon crawling. It was quite fun actually. But one of the things that we did, we don't really understand what's happening. But one of the things that we did was we had a lot of fun just faffing around with how the game world works. We snuck into this dungeon. And we were searching around all over the place, and we were picking out everything from the boxes. And then my brother realised all of a sudden that you could pick up the boxes. So you're talking full-sized crates, right? Twice the width of a man, up to his waist.
With his pinky.
And he... No, not as in just pick them up. You can move them, but as in put them in his inventory. He could pick the box up and put it in his bag. So we both started doing that, and we had like 20 boxes each in our bags and big wooden barrels.
I just imagine like two little characters running around on a map with these bags, and they've just got like these big pointy shapes in them. It's like like running behind you. It would
basically be Santa's sack size.
That's what I mean.
And then you're carrying this bag along, and eventually we became over encumbered and couldn't walk, so we had to start dropping the boxes to pick up other things. And I had noticed previously, because I'm two-handed and he's one-handed or bows. That's what we're trying to do to see if it will work for us because of the way we're playing. And basically it allows me to stand right in front of him, and he can stand behind me and shoot, and we can heal each other up. And that's working quite well so far. But what I had noticed was that I could just... You can just send any item to your friend. So I had a one-handed axe. I sent it to him straight away because we're playing on online co-op. So normally when you start, you have a second character.
Yes.
And they follow you around, right? I think it's to balance the fact that if you went a healer, which would be useful, you'd actually do no damage, really. So you start with two characters. But if you're playing in co-op, you those are your two people. And you build your party up later. And so you can send items to the other character really easily. They don't, you know how in Star Trek the other person has to accept it as like a trade.
Yes, yeah.
In this, it's just send to friend, boom, done.
Oh, that'd be so much easier because we were having trouble last time we tried to do the trading thing on Star Trek.
Yes, it wasn't working for us. But here's the thing: when we were going through our inventory to drop the boxes and barrels that we didn't need anymore, I wasn't dropping them. I was sending them to my brother.
Oh, you
so he was
horrible person.
He was sitting there thinking, why have I got all these boxes? I'm sure I'm dropping these. And then he realised, so started sending them back to me. And so we were just firing boxes at each other. And I'm just imagining that. Just imagine that outside the game mechanics, right? Me
Yeah.
sneaking up behind him, pulling a massive big crate out of my pocket and somehow sneaking it into his. And then when he realises what's happening, we're surreptitiously just throwing boxes at each other. Like across the map, just woof. I don't need this, you have this. I just thought that...
That sounds hilarious, I'm not gonna lie.
Oh, it was so fun. It was a lot of fun just to start sneaking boxes, and I did it at the very end when we were about to stop playing. I stood next to him and said, right, well, we'll just save here then, and then took 3 or 4 steps back, and I had deliberately picked up extra stuff and just started sending him boxes.
Yeah.
And then I said to him, right, come over here. And he couldn't move because he was over encumbered, and he was like, wait a minute, what? Why can't I move? And he checked his inventory and there was like 40 boxes in it because I had just sent them all to him. Because there had been a big load of boxes off to one side, and you can actually run quite far away from each other. He was all the way over a different part of the map. And so I picked up all these boxes and slowly walked to where I wanted to go. Right? And then when he came up to save it, I sent him all the boxes and walked back and then said, come over here. And so he hadn't realised I couldn't move. So I'd sent him all these boxes and it was suddenly in his inventory, and he was just slowly like, oh, wait a minute, why can't I move? Ah, you...
You sneaky man.
If you ever play it, there's an optional dungeon at the beginning. We probably should play it, to be honest, but you should definitely do that. And it's got things in it like... everybody, I think, can lockpick and disarm traps, but you don't necessarily start with the items necessary to do it.
Yeah.
So I just ended up walking up to landmines and hitting them, and then he would heal me. Or you can break open the crates. But I think there's also a mouse running around in the opening part of that dungeon. It follows you the whole way through. And if you have Pet Pal as a perk, you can speak to it. We couldn't do that because we don't have it, but you can do that.
Okay.
And then afterwards we met a talking what's that? Oyster?
Like the thing with a pearl in it.
Yeah, talking oyster. Massive big thing that was asking to be put back in the sea. Because because that's where it's from, and it spent millennia.
Help me!
Yeah,
I
genuinely.
Want to see.
It was talking about how it's been stuck out.
Hot.
It's been stuck out of the ocean since human beings climbed trees.
Help me.
So it's been out of the ocean for thousands, if not millions of years.
Oh, wow.
It seems to be immortal. But you can take it instead, and you can either sell it, or as we found out by looking it up for a laugh, you can eat it. And it gives you a bonus to your water resistance.
Very sad, though. I'd put it back in the water.
No, we took it. We're going to eat it. Just another thing was, just before, at the end of that sort of opening area, we bumped into a couple of guards who are guarding this bridge.
Yeah.
And they're drunk, and they're like, why do you want in, blah, 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 blah. And they can't read the letter that explains who you are. So they're like, right, we're going to take you to the wizard, because the wizard can read. I've seen he's got loads of books. And my brother...
He's very smart. You see these books? They're massive. they're as thick as my hand.
I think at one point they describe a book the size of a house. And
You can sleep in it.
my brother decided he was too angry or whatever. He just wanted to fight. He was like, no, come on, they're not telling us what to do. Let's do this. They're drunk. They won't be able to defend themselves. We got annihilated. Absolutely, utterly destroyed. Another thing I should say is that the combat is turn-based.
I hate those games.
Right, well, it's... what do you think about D&D?
I've never played D&D.
Do you think you would like it?
I mean that... I think, yes, for that... But when I'm playing a video game, I feel like I should be allowed to attack. I shouldn't have to sit there and watch it. I don't know what it is, but like D&D sounds more entertaining because I understand it's like a dice roll game. It's like Oh, actually, I don't know how it works. I was
Yeah,
gonna say,
but
if I
that's
roll a 5, I can cast a
no,
free
but that's what's
spell.
happening in the background. But also, like, you're in control of all the characters on your side.
Yeah, but no, I feel like if you're playing a video game, you should be allowed to fight each other like at that moment. You shouldn't have to wait. You attack, then they attack, then you attack, then they attack.
Right, but that's the game type. You're just saying you don't like that game type.
I think. Well, I mean, I've played, like I said, I think it was last week or the week before. I played Final Fantasy X Part 2
Right.
instead of not 12, because that's what I thought I was
Yep.
playing. And that's what drove me crazy, was the turn-based thing.
Well, it's turn-based, and you get action points.
Very well
And
then.
that's how. So, for my brother, it was 3 to attack. For me, it was 4 because I had a bigger weapon. You can move around, but that costs action points as well. Or you can use abilities; they cost action points. And you find yourself sort of strategically trying to decide when you're going to do something. Because if you hold your turn, well, if you cancel your turn without doing anything, you keep the action points, and then when you
Yeah.
get your next slot for the next turn, you've got more.
Okay.
So you can build up enough. So if you start with, say if you get 7 a turn, and you can hold up to 13. If you don't do anything, you'll have 13 in the next turn, and it allows you to do different things because certain
Yeah.
abilities require more action points. And then you've got armors, and different weapons and all that sort of jazz that you can use. And certain magicians can summon allies and stuff like that. But it's sort of D&D-esque. But yeah, I thought it was.
It sounds. I tell you what, I won't knock it till I try it.
Okay.
So I'll try it at some point, and then I'll make a decision whether or not I actually like it.
Okay. Well, what we
Because
do?
I want to try at. Sorry,
On you go. No, you go.
I was gonna say I want to try actual D&D. At
Oh.
least once.
Interesting. You want to play D&D?
Yes.
Interesting.
Interesting. Yes, I want to play D&D.
Is there something else similar to that you might want to play?
The Towers of Clay.
Yes. Came up with 2 moves yesterday.
Are you still working on that? I thought you'd given up.
No. Thank you.
It's been so long since I heard about it.
Well, that's just because you don't ask me any questions about myself or what I'm doing.
I do ask you. But you say, I don't want to talk about it. I don't want to talk about it.
Well, I'm just writing down the 2 powers I came up with yesterday because I forgot to note them down.
Well, what are your 2 powers that you came up with yesterday?
No, it's fine. You don't care.
Fine. Anything else you want to talk about?
The 2 powers were called Divine Champion and Speak for the Holy Man.
What do they do?
I'm not telling you. You'll need to play the game.
Fine. Fine. Is there anything else you wish to discuss?
No.
Well, since Tommy has no longer anything else to say, and neither do I will say thank you so much for listening. If you enjoyed what you... Oh, well, we don't have any stories this week.
Yeah, I think they worked that out.
Okay. Thank you guys so much for listening. If you like what you heard, you can leave a comment down below. That'd be fantastic. Or you can email us at overshadow.shadowcast@gmail.com. You can like the videos, you can subscribe to the channel, you can hit the share button, you can hit the notification button for when we upload. You can find us on Facebook at overshadow.shadowcast. All the information is going to be left in the description box down below. So thank you so much for listening, and all that's really left for me to say is goodbye.
Goodbye.
Goodbye.